Episode 93, December the 25th, 1915. 10 minutes Goodwill. A happy memory of the second Christmas armistice. By Wilfred Ewart. Read by Martin Johnson. The author of Scots Guard, whose description of the Battle of Neuve Chapelle appears in episode 59, here reveals the fact that, despite strict orders to the contrary, fraternisation took place on the second Christmas day of the war. Later, anything in the nature of an unofficial armistice was met with severe punishment, such as the stopping of leave for units who encouraged the practice. It is Christmas morning. As I gaze over the parapet on the drab landscape before me, every feature, every rise or fall in the ground, every knoll, every hideous skeleton of shattered buildings, almost every tree has its story, so consecrated forever to the memory of the English race is the Orbus Ridge. An inconsiderable, scarcely noticeable rise in the ground. So are the skeletal trees, the hedgerows and fields that fringe its summit, that climb the slope. So are the bright red and dark red roofs of buildings that cluster halfway up the slope, and the tall factory chimney in their midst, that of Orbus itself. In the foreground is a village absolutely shattered. It is scarcely possible to see the brown roofs, the stark walls and vari-coloured ruins amid the trees. Then comes the church, a ghostly shell dominating the flat scene. And behind the trenches is a row of tall elms and poplars, looking monstrous in the midst, these marking the line of a road. Immediately in front of them is a big farmstead with a courtyard and a square little home field, an untidy heap of red bricks amid four naked walls. Between the irregular lines of the trenches with their jumbled white sandbags and untidy earth parapets is a stream, marked by a line of twisted brown willows, bent to every conceivable grotesque shape. The stream runs down the middle of no man's land, which is itself a place of coarse grasses, hiding little mouldering heaps of grey and khaki, the slain of Festubert, of Neuve Chapelle, and late September heaps of old clothes or fallen scarecrows they look like, of knobs and unexpected pits, of earthy holes and waterlogged ditches. And here our men meet the Germans. So soon as it grows light this morning, we start peeping at each other over the top of the parapet, calling across to each other. And presently, at about 7:50, a German stands up openly on the parapet and waves his arms. He is followed by two in field grey overcoats and pillbox caps. Then they come out, all down the line, stand up on the parapet, wave, shout, and finally swarm forth from their trenches on either side. A British sergeant is shot dead, almost at the outset, as he stands on the parapet. But this makes no difference. It must have been an accident. The supreme craving of humanity, the irresistible, spontaneous impulse born of a common faith and a common fear, fully triumph. And so the grey and khaki figures surge towards each other as one man. The movement has started on the right. It spreads like contagion. Only we officers, the sentries, and a few non-commissioned officers remain in our trench. The men meet at the willow-lined stream. They even cross it and mingle together in a haphazard throng. They talk and gesticulate and shake hands over and over again. They pat each other on the shoulder and laugh like schoolboys and leap across the little stream for fun. And when the Englishman falls in and a Boche helps him out, there's a shout of laughter that echoes back to the trenches. The Germans exchange cigars and pieces of sausage and sauerkraut and concentrated coffee for cigarettes and bully beef, and ration biscuits and tobacco. They express mutual admiration by pointing and signs. It is our leather waistcoats and trench coats that attract their attention, and it is their trench overalls made of coarse canvas that attracts ours. We shout, "Hello, Fritz! Good morning, Fritz! Merry Christmas! Happy Christmas! How's your father? Come over and call. Come and have breakfast." Even the like, amid roars of laughter. Even confidences are exchanged in broken English. "When's the war going to end?" "After the spring offensive," said a German. "Yes, after the spring offensive." "What sort of trenches have you?" queried a German. "Rotten, knee-deep in mud and water, not fit for pigs." "Aren't you sick of the war?" "We are," finally asked a German. "Not a bit," was the English response. And the information is even vouchsafed that our Christmas Eve bombardment had caused the Germans a lot of casualties. So, for 10 brief, all too brief minutes, there is peace and goodwill amongst the trenches on Christmas Day. Then from the trenches of the 95th Bavarian Reserve Infantry Regiment, 2 officers in black accoutrements and shiny field boots came out, wishing to take photographs of our Tommies and offering them cigars. Their request is refused, and presently they say, "You will have 5 minutes to get back to your trenches before our artillery will open fire." And it does, and 2 or 3 men are wounded almost at once. But for 24 hours not a shot is fired on either side. A common brotherhood of suffering, or is it an act of God, or just human curiosity, has united Englishman and Bavarian in fraternity on the battlefield this grey Christmas morning, which no one on either side who has taken part in this quaint scene will ever forget.
Shouting out these pathetic